Welcome to Gumza na Chai Hustle Edition.
When you're young, you want to get money, you want to be independent. You'll find yourself in spaces whereby they don't help you thrive, but to collect, you know what, man, I need 50K at the end of the month.
Your networks tend to become your network, in the sense that if your networks cannot build you into going the next heights, then you're not having the correct network.
Yeah.
I remember when I started working in school, you're here to make the boss look good.
Wow.
So in short, like what you're doing,
Reality.
yeah,
Whoa.
like you're supporting your boss because he's the leader of the head of your team. We've all been in corporate. We've seen how corporate has taken us. You get into a place, you do your best, but you'll always find one or two colleagues who are against you, who are trying to pull you down, and you wonder, okay, aren't we working for the same?
Even if you're the leader, watch out what will borrow from you. No one will ever be you, you can never be them. It's just for them to pick.
In corporate, you're taught to think that the person at the top can only talk with the other people at the top and the next ones. So you cannot just go to them and talk to them, or like if you have even an idea, if you have a perfect idea, you cannot just go to that person. So they'd be like, so you're an intern, why are you bringing me this?
Everyone has a hustle, and we would like to see how hustle has taken us. But first of all, how have you guys been?
How are you? Nilifika hapa uko like
Yes.
Okay. Mkopoa, how are you guys? How was my name is Kare. How was my week? It's I don't know, it's just been like on a what is it called? Lifeline. Yes. Because I feel like there was so much to do in terms of like school coursework, and then at the same time there was like you expecting some things to go through in terms of work. So it was like there are some nerves, but they're being calmed by the fact that you have something you're doing. Then now school coursework. So basically it's been, I would say it's been like on a lifeline. Not much has been happening apart from what always happens, which is work and school.
Yeah.
Yes. So not much has been happening. It's just normal things that have been happening in my life.
Such is life. Chini,
like sai tuko like tuko hapo tunafanyiwa like clear. Yeah.
I know that this year to many people has been like you've lived a whole year within a space of such a short span of time.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah.
But anyway, even as that has been happening, what's a highlight that you'll say so far this 2024 has done for you? Nana.
Now we've gone from
Yes.
your week to January to April.
Everyone has a question. Everyone has a special question.
I've had many highlights, even just from this week. I think I've been trying to start a couple of things, and I think my main work right now, I'm at a point whereby, tumefanya inaitwa tumepeana job opportunities to a couple of designers, but I think building something is not always very easy. And I think when I look at that professional side of mine, I'm very glad of the strides that we have made. We had a couple of celebrations this week on Thursday. When I was in Mombasa, we were celebrating the closing of such a big project that has been taking place for like 1.5 years, and it's amazing young people in Mombasa who are building businesses for to tackle marine plastic waste.
Wow.
Climate change.
We are not going to die.
We're not going to die.
And floods.
And flood, exactly. But I think the to be able to create, for me, it's the biggest highlight is to be able to create a space whereby people can thrive in what they really want to do, to really create impact in the work that we do. So that really got me very, very excited. I think it's a very big highlight. Just to keep it short.
Which one do you want me to answer?
Now, can you tell us about August to December 2020?
But it's kind of what would you say is the outlook for you this year in terms of your hustle?
The outlook. First of all, I want to grow in my career. So there are a few courses that I'm taking, just because there are skills that I want to perfect. And this came from just the people I work with, especially my manager, being like, I know you can do more, and I want you to gain this skill. Like having someone who is very intentional, that nimeona opportunity na ni kama wewe uoni, but nimeona, and I want you to get this skill so that you move to the next level. So first of all, growing in my career by the skills I can do by doing more, looking for better ways to do my work so that it gets to make a bigger impact. Because sisi we work with 4 farmers. Farmers are our bosses, so if we can spread the word about how hard they are working to more audiences, so that more people come in to support us, so that we can help even more farmers, then I think I'll have made an impact in this world.
You already are.
Like what I'm doing, but so that's the outlook I have for my hustle for this year. Plus a few other things doing on the side, like this podcast. Like I want it to grow.
Amen.
Amen to that.
I want us to, of course, inspire more people, but also build something from this.
Yes.
Like atupigi tu story, like we have a vision.
That's true.
Tumesema we're seeing life experiences coming. We are seeing I don't know, like the ideas are crazy, like as crazy as we can think it can be done, so all those are some of the things that I'm excited about for this year.
We're excited for you.
I think everyone here has exciting paths to go on, and even as we take this platform and hopefully reach the people who really need it, not just want it, but really need it. As we all know, the hustle world is just a special one. And I'll say this with the journey I've been in the hustle. I'm yet to get to the place where I'll say this is where I really wanted to be and I really need to be. But even with that, I am hopeful that I am making impact as I go along. And I'll shoot this one to all of us. What if today you're given this opportunity and told, what do you look for in your hustle that will be the best and most appropriate for you in this time? Because what was working 5 years ago is not the same thing that is working right now. What would you say it is? Nana.
Can we maybe talk about like our hustles?
Yes,
so that
put it in your
actually
put it in your hustle terms, because you see we all live in different lines. I'm in e-learning, she's in writing, you're in training, and you're in the marketing field, and at the same time you're still boosting agricultural guys. So we're all indifferent, but sometimes I even find we may be doing all different hustles, but maybe we are leading to the same path.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
It's impact, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's how you're changing lives, man. Yeah.
So yeah, what would it be? What is the thing that you're saying if today in your household you're given in straight shoots up?
I think for me, it's just the way you're saying it's impact. I'm in the research, venturing into data analysis. So I think for me is what impact. Right now, there was a time it was about paying bills.
Yeah, I know.
There was a time I want to survive, so I don't care whether there is any impact or anything. Are we having that job? That kind of job nifanye, but imefika point, and I think this could be true for all of us, where you sit down and you ask yourself, what is it that this research I'm doing for others? Am I getting involved in research projects that are making a difference? So for me, it's gotten to a point where if I was to be asked right now, I'd say I want my hustle to make a difference, no matter how small or big it is. I would want to. I am looking to be in a space where I'm researching and using data, especially data, because I know right now data is big. Like everyone is like, okay, you're making a decision. Umetoa evidence. Tuonyeshe ni aje. Like we want to know why you're making this decision.
Yeah.
So I know data has become very important, especially in making decisions and changing, if it's organizations, ensuring that they make the right decision. And especially when it comes to now dripping down to how is it changing the lives of the common human being? Because yes, we can change an organization and it's earning more money, but then again, how is that change dripping down to the normal person, the day-to-day life of a normal person? Yeah, so for me, it's impact and impacting from the organization down to the person who is the final user.
Yeah. I think segueing into also what Gina it's funny you have an inside joke with that one at the office. No, but I'm also in the innovation space, and we tend to do a lot of research because, like you said, data is really huge. Data on a pesa side, right? But it's really thinking beyond the money and focusing on what impact is. A lot of people will talk about impact on reports. I mean, if you've been in the especially development space. But for me, the impact is an individual or to the community. And even when you're talking about a business, yes, you can be making money, but how are you actually creating impact? So my work is also research, design being just using creative approaches to understand what really is the problem. Nyandarua na Meru. But so just trying to understand really what is the problem, reframing it beyond what people do say, sexual reproductive health, or it's gender inclusion, like what really is the problem and who do we need to bring to the table so that we can leverage each other's strength, so that we can be able to even help expand value chains within those ecosystems that are especially away from, tunagongana focus sana on Nairobi, Mombasa, but really how do we build capacity or enable people, and enable see always to at easy technical skills. It's just how can they learn to work with what exists in the environment, and there being even a regeneration of the resources in Eziko, so that people feel like if I'm in Northeastern, there's something I can do. I don't have to come to Nairobi, and I can be with my family, and I can help regenerate whatever is there. So I am expanding value chains, building capacity for what we do so that we can help people, but also enabling people within these existing ecosystems to thrive, simply to just thrive. And that looks very, very different.
Yes.
So similar to Jean, I think for me it's impact. But the one thing that has also become very important that I've realized is in these years that I've been in the innovation times development space, you need to find people with the right philosophy.
Yes.
Because there are people who are smart out here. Ukiweka hivi kwa hiyo job, watafanya hiyo job vizuri. But if you don't know how to interact with people, if you don't know how to be kind or to exercise compassion, or really prioritizing your impact venye tunasema, really just changing someone's life, then it becomes hard. You can be very smart, but then you cannot be able to really create impact beyond to huyo msee anaweza kwa an income, like a food kwa table, but how even relating with the people who you're working. So I'd say that too.
I think I share with what you guys say, like especially where I work, we always say like every phone call, every meeting, every spreadsheet is directed towards impact. Like when you start your day, you're thinking, okay, while I'm working on this Excel sheet, how is it causing an impact now for us, now for farmers, So every meeting, all those things you're thinking about, like the farmer that is in Kakamega or in Muranga, how is what I'm doing impacting their life? So I share in what you guys say, and I would also add that like something that directs how I hustle right now is like when I was in my 20s, when umesema, like I used to hustle for money, like the bill has been paid, but right now, like with what I do, like I'm usually like is Nana's work more comfortable or better because I am helping her, so like how am I also helping the people that I'm working with, and like what sort of legacy am I leaving behind, like because Flo was in our team, we were able to do 1, 2, 3 things. It doesn't have to be a statue set up for you that, oh my God, we're remembering her with this. It can be even something that, it's for yourself. You're like, I did this, and I'm proud of myself. So not everyone recognized it, but I made this impact and I left this legacy that maybe it's been carried forward or not, but it made a difference.
Oh wow. You all have given you all have given such remarkable answers that even someone tends to think, is there anything else I can talk about?
I know. As if we're the home.
But anyway, at the same time, I'll say just to, it's like to put the cherry on top. Other than impact, I'll say the whole aspect of working, it's kind of the same as what you've all touched on. Working, that no man is an island. And the fact that if we get people who are like-minded in our spaces, I think things will move better. But unfortunately, I do not know whether it's a Kenyan thing or something. It's like, even though you're trying to pull someone into something, and they have the same idea, I don't know why the first thing is normally you're trying to rip me off. Which, for me, I wish we can start changing our mindsets. And unfortunately, our trust levels are so low. And we ourselves are the ones to blame, because how over time we've all been in corporate. We've seen how corporate has taken us. You get into a place, you do your best, but you'll always find 1 or 2 colleagues who are against you, who are trying to pull you down, and you wonder, okay, aren't we working for the same?
Do you think it's something to do also with like the culture?
I think
of
it's
the
also
company?
culture.
Yeah.
It's culture, and I do not know what it is, but other than culture, there's something to it that isn't also right.
I think, a lot has been, toxic things have been normalized for a very long
Yes.
time, right? And I know we can all go on and on and on.
True.
But I remember even recently, when we've been able to, there was a fellowship that we're running for the designers, and then now we just started the internship this week. But you can tell, even beyond the interns, just the people who have come in the space that I'm in, there's even iyo kitu ya, they're so afraid to come and talk to me or
As
the
one of
people,
the founders,
exactly, because there's usually kuna that hierarchy kind of thing, you know, I can't come and talk to ule cause ye ndio mdosi. So even I think it's up to us, the fact that we are aware of it, it's up to us to really change those cultures that have been there for a long time, or even them feeling like they'll forever be stuck that in one position, in a way that they're not able to think about how can I level up. Leveling up to them is like, after 8-10 years ndio sasa naweza panda the next cheo. But how about we can all eat the cake? You do your work mkijenga, songa ndio huyo mtu akuje akiendelea kulearn before you say you have to be seasoned for 10 years for you to come to this nini. No, work with those, even if you're the leader. Wacha watu wa borrow from you. No one will ever, no one will ever be you. You can never be them.
Exactly.
It's just for them to pick and pick. But yeah, I think it's a hata cause stories zenye the young people wanasikia about the industry.
Yeah.
It's usually ya kuogopa, or to very extreme cases tuseme kama there's been, I don't know, like sexual harassment, because they know, they've had stories of nothing usually happens if you go, and if it happens to you ukienda kwa your boss or something utaambiwa tu so
it's being rubber stamped to have like an okay.
Yeah.
It isn't okay.
Yeah, so it's up to us to really break those walls and those bad toxic whatever. Ndio watu waone, there's a new normal and it's healthier, you know.
There's a slice of cake for everyone.
I think we've grown up. We've been in a space where when you're in where you incorporate, you're like, you're taught to think that the person at the top can only talk with the other people at the top and the next ones. So you cannot just go to them and talk to them, or like if you try to if you have even an idea, if you have a perfect idea, you cannot just go to that person. So they'll be like, so you're an intern, why are you bringing me this? But I think it also has been stamped by the way organizations have been working. There's that hierarchy. Instead of having a flat structure, there's that hierarchy. Like, you cannot see me if you're not, you start here, wacha hiyo message ipasiwe. So people are usually so fearful.
It becomes a broken telephone kind of thing, because whatever was actually transmitted from the get-go tends to be sieved through and changed up just to accommodate whatever the line of the hierarchy was.
Or even when it gets there, someone else gets the credit.
That's the other thing.
I remember when I started working, I was told, you're here to make your boss look good.
Wow.
Yeah, so in short, like, what you're doing is like you're supporting your boss, because he's the leader of the head of your team. So you're here to make your boss look good. So all the ideas that I present as like his, they won't be credited to you. But like, it's a new thing that I am learning with the organization that I'm in right now, where they celebrate like individuals. You know, like, your boss doesn't take the credit of this. That's good.
That's really good. That's really good.
And just to add on what you were saying about like culture, like, I will say that it also, like even how you bring up your kids contributes to that. Like me, I remember growing up, of course, not all households, but kids are not allowed, like mkika now wazee or your parents, you're not allowed to contribute to
You have to be
conversation.
seen, not
You know,
heard.
like
That is
you're
so
a
true.
kid, what are you saying? And it gets to your
That
mind.
is very
okay,
true.
because someone is older, they know everything.
They know
You know, so you get
everything.
to corporate or to a workplace, like here they're older, so they're, you know, they have been here for 15 years. Why?
And I
So maybe
cannot
my
tell them
idea is
anything.
bad.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
And I think even as even as
true.
leaders, we also need to be
Aware.
open, because sasa leaders pia ndo wana perpetuate the same things, no wonder they are so afraid. Hiyo kutaka au ndo wameonekana wamefanya all the work. Hapana, please
But you
give
see,
people their
that's
flowers.
the thing. The kind of leadership we have today is so self-centered that we forget leadership is not about being ahead. It's more about servanthood.
Yeah, true.
Because you see, if we could change up, and I wish Kenyans could wake up one day and just see if people are serving you to the best of their ability. Now that is a proper leader because they are serving from the front. It's not from the back whereby they are hiding, and then when things are already
Or they have been
done,
so armed to support you.
is when now you come ahead and do all you need to do or show yourself when things are already, when the sun is shining. You need to be there even when it's raining, you know. So I think, yes, the culture that also in our homestead has also contributed to what we see in the offices.
That is very true.
But hata when you say the leaders, to be honest, our government leaders, you know, in a sound cliche, but if the top leadership of the country, they are perpetuating the very, very wrong things. Unadhani hata the CEOs or whatever wakiona kama wale wanaweza fanya it's the same.
It will be hard for them to
exactly.
It won't be an enabling environment to be the good they have. Because now they'll have to let go and just let things be, because even people higher than them are doing the worst.
Yeah.
So I understand
Kazi kwetu.
But
I think just before we move on, like the example you gave, you're in a workshop and the interns feel like sort of afraid to approach you. Like if you were in their shoes, like what would you have done differently? Of course, now knowing everything that you know.
It's funny, I was about to go there.
What would you encourage them?
What,
Like if it was you as an intern.
Listen.
Let me even paraphrase it. Given that you've learned all you've learned up to today, what different thing would you tell now a person coming in terms of they're new to the workforce? They want to grow like where you are at now, but they can't even attempt to even see an ounce of hope in terms of the leadership. What will you give them as advice?
I feel like we'll need another episode for me to just talk about
How long?
I'll try make it, I think, very brief. And when I say this, I absolutely acknowledge that even for us, like when even when you were starting out, it was about the money. People, when you're young, you want to get money, you want to be independent. You'll find yourself in spaces whereby they don't help you thrive, but to collect, you know what, man, I need 50K at the end of the month. So I acknowledge that before I say now what I want to say. But it's first of all, you need to know what is your purpose, like what really drives you, what helps you get up. Because when you understand your purpose, honestly, no matter what happens at the end of the kama purpose yako ni at the end of the day, I want to make sure I've done one good thing to a person or whatever, just one good thing. Ukienda nyumbani utalala. If you don't have your purpose, you'll never know what direction you need to lean. Utakuwa ile bendera hufuata upepo. So I'd say, first of all, know your purpose. Know why are you here? Why do you want to do what you want to do? Again, I'll acknowledge that you might want to do something, but the opportunities are not there. So if you are in a space, now from the question, if you're in a space whereby maybe you've gotten that opportunity, but the leadership, the space does not help you thrive. If you know why you're doing what you're doing, or why you're umeamka leo, then that can also help you get confidence to just say no to what is there, because you might not have the power kabisa ya could change what is happening. One, you say no, you try and look for somewhere else that can help you thrive.
That's true.
Two, before maybe just deciding to up and leave, communicate what is wrong. You know, in some spaces you'll find people who will be like, I know what you feel, man, I understand, and where things need to change. And maybe you can see if you can be able to rally, but again, job security. Like there are so many. I think if you're able to find a space that hata kama it's not the best, and can help you be able to articulate when something is not wrong, or just say, oh, this thing need to change. You need to have that confidence to just kuweza kusema that this is not right. If things change, well and good. If they don't, find another opportunity. But it's a very tricky question to ask, because there are so many conditions with where we are right now.
I think just to top it up, I'll say every situation is different in terms of it could be the opportunity lacking, it could be maybe the even the field not working out for at that point in time, because like we know we are all graduates, yes, of a degree, but which one of us is practicing?
Kwanza engineering.
You don't
I want to know an engineer who is practicing, because all the engineers
Most of them are not.
I'm actually engineering.
Yes, you are.
I'm just not working with machines. I'm engineering with people.
I know. People
But it's
engineering.
true.
She's people engineering.
The people who we've graduated with, man, I may not have all the stats, but what when you were not really doing what we really need.
That's
Based
true.
on that, I feel like I'll ask a question that will just.
No. Because you see, this is a conversation.
Yes. So I'm thinking.
Yes.
Considering, well, maybe I'm in the same line, because I had some statistics in my but I know so many people who are not really doing what they like. They're not practicing what they did in uni. So is then the question is,
What's a disconnect?
What's the disconnect, and what should we do? Because of course people are still going to uni, people are still doing engineering, people are still doing medicine. Medicine wamegoma. So like madoki wamegoma.
Kugoma, because there are also medical students
who actually are not practicing. True, I was saying no. True. So where's the disconnect? Like nini na disconnect, and is it happening now? I know in our era we were more of like our parents were more of go to school, work hard, pass, get a job. I feel like now with Gen Zs it's kind of different. I don't know whether it's still the same. It's kind of different. As much as they are going to school, you find someone is going to school, but they are more flexible in. I stand to be corrected, but they are more flexible in that they are those who are getting into art related courses.
They also
They are
have
those who do
more opportunities
And in school,
like courses, like like new things that were not
they were never there.
I'll put
And
it
also,
but I'll put it also this way. Yes, there are those opportunities that were not there then, but not that they were absent. They were there, just that they were not endorsed as much as they are in today's world. Things have evolved in the workplace. And we've started jobs, embracing different things.
Like design.
Yes.
A new.
Nowadays you can do so much. But if you told your parents back then,
even now people still don't know.
So many people don't
these are the same parents who have grown up with these are the lines you take. You're either an accountant, a
Right.
secretary,
And doctor,
and if you go
engineer.
even sana, utaenda engineer, medicine, what? And that's why nowadays you even find, like now, most I know millennials, what they may have done is they took the first degree. It's like taking back to the parents, nishafanya.
Oh yeah, lots
And
of
then from there, do
services.
whatever you
Do
wanted
what
to
you want to do.
unfortunately. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that it didn't give you a base of something.
Right.
That's the
that's
one
what
thing
actually
I
did.
think people
Should
also
appreciate.
tend to.
Okay.
We cancel it so much, we forget. It also helped us in one way or another.
For sure.
It opened doors.
For
Yeah,
sure.
I was in my line of work, like I also do a lot of writing, especially
Yeah.
for recruitment audiences and also like farming and donor facing. So on the recruitment side, I've interviewed a couple of professionals. Like especially a lady I interviewed recently she did something mathematics, like in campus, like very hard. I
BSc
graduate with a first
mathematics
class
and-
honors.
I
She
think I
went
know
and
those
worked for
courses.
PwC, but it just wasn't her. And so she's in recruitment. But when you talk to her, she tells you, I see so many aspects of what I studied in my work. You know, I know how to use the data
Yeah.
and look at trends that we're seeing in people, division and all these things. So it's not all waste. Like you see how
it's
and I
never
think
waste.
that's the whole essence of what CBC should be. You know, it helps you think of like with
Yes,
this knowledge,
competency.
I have this knowledge, but how can I use it in this other way? You
Yeah.
know, not just for
In the real world.
Just
So what you have,
train you to
how
think
can I
out
use
of
it
the
now
box.
in this new space that
Yeah.
I'm in?
Just to top up onto that CBC aspect, considering I'm more or less in the line of education. CBC initially, and I believe this was what the guys who began it wanted. They wanted to make pathways from an early age, because you see, you knew you loved math from when you were small. You knew you loved science from when you were small. Those signs were there. How much you took time to do those particular aspects of those subjects actually built to where you sometimes landed, because you see, you were even being made to choose these are the subjects you take up in high school, and you landed into campus through them. Let me put them that way. But right now, unfortunately, I'll say I wish it came in as an option so that they can stabilize it before it became fully intact. Because right now, I think we may lose a section of our generations in the CBC mess, because it's not truly seen exactly how they will go, because the pathways have not yet been interconnected.
They are building
Exactly.
the bridge as they
That's
move.
what
Yes,
that's
you
what I
can't
wanted
build a
to
road
say.
as
Like
you
there are some
move.
people,
Yeah,
there are some
make the
people who will
road
think it's
fast.
already
And
good
then
and
Not even that. You've not even trained the people carrying the road to build the road.
Yeah.
These are the teachers.
You
Yeah.
bring a manual every morning.
Every year there's a new manual coming out. There's also revisions I know currently happening of the past
curriculum.
not even curriculum, but still of CBC. Whatever they produced initially is now being reviewed already. You see, so for me, I think you need to put things in phases, and I wish they didn't play with children's lives in that way, because then you would have had a clear cut. If a teacher wants to go into CBC, they choose that option. If they are not ready for it, and they be trained for it. Because you see, right now, by the time they changed from grading ABCD to whether they understand the metrics, that the new metrics they are using, it has become such a challenge. You try and telling a teacher, no, it is more of, are they above average or below average, so that you understand where the child is, but not by rubber stamping an A or a B Which kind of, yes, I get why they would want the ABCD easily than the the competency matching. But I feel
There's something
amiss in the whole pathways has been messed up because of the initial piloting.
Ndio shida ya Kenya ni we rush into doing things. We don't take time. CBC is a good idea, good strategy, but can you, like the way you're saying, let's strategize the pathway from the time of call.
I'm sure the people who start
KGs, then your primary, I'm not caught up with. Then when it's primary, secondary, university.
Right now,
Bado unasema hata mimi by the way.
Basic education goes all the way to grade 6. They go to junior high, which is grade 7, 8, 9. Then high school 10, 11, 12. And then now they can go to campus.
Okay,
so senior. Senior.
No. What?
Like you'll say you're in grade 10.
Yes.
Alafu after grade 10?
After grade 12.
When is the
senior
end of high school?
12.
Or grade 12?
So after grade 12, you can go to uni or college.
Yes.
So I also create paths and then create opportunities.
Now, you see, the thing is, you're supposed to be, as a child, from where you started in the CBC format, your pathway is being seen. Whatever projects you did, even as low as... that's how it should work, ideally. But unfortunately, I don't think that's how it's working currently.
No.
So, ideally, it should start from the grade 1 all the way going up. Whatever you did in grade 1 builds up all the way to grade 12. You get my point? So your pathway, even where you go to junior high or high school, should be based on your competency. So if you're an arts person, you should go to a school that is arts based. If you're a STEM person, you go into a STEM based. But unfortunately, even the schools have not been specialized in that way. Because if they were, we would find maybe even like now these top schools we knew when we were in high school, like Akina Alliance and Mangus, would now start changing into they are strictly STEM guys like that. Maybe you go to now other schools, you find that they are strictly art kind of based schools, such ways, or they can host both. You know,
I think here there's just another bigger element of we've borrowed so much from the West, like our curriculum, the education system. Like we borrowed so much, and it at times it feels that's why
who created it for. Then you move on.
It's not. This. Yeah, the point is it's not our own, right? And at times in our work. When you think even when you're designing a solution and you think about culture, so we ask ourselves, when we say they are not educated or they don't have these skills, who is saying? It's based on what? Exactly. The ancestors, the generations have existed tu na maziwa, damu na nyama ya ng'ombe, and they've survived. So who are we to say that they're uneducated and they have land? I mean it's a very systemic issue. When ukijaribu kuuliza what is that gap? It's an extremely systemic issue, and the moment we can learn to have our own things or have our own capacity, or people who know how to create solutions, however small, for what works for us here, then tunaenda mbele. But there's a big part of remembering who are we as Africans.
Just to endorse what you're saying, it's the same concept of how realtors come to Kenya. Look at how malls are built. How Garden City and Two Rivers were built is based on a South African model, not a Kenyan model. Kenyans are not the kind of people to go for shopping or to the mall every day after school.
True.
Yes. True. But Two Rivers and Garden City, during the week, it is the most emptiest places you could ever be.
Because kids are hustling.
Yes.
True.
Minimum of 2 jobs.
And when you ask, did you guys do a basic
needs
Mm.
assessment.
research and needs assessment over
Yeah.
that area.
Mm.
They say yes based on
On
what?
what?
are
And
the
who?
goals?
And who
They struggle in South Africa.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, unfortunately, you come to
You're
learn
like,
that it is not, and such things are what I'm realizing have been affecting Kenyan things, because you find it is a foreign. We embrace too much of foreign things. We forget people who actually understand us are ourselves.
Mm.
Because
true.
you see, yes, CBC is there, but yes, it was tweaked in a way to work for us. But unfortunately, because of not being endorsed the right way, very many things have been changing. Unfortunately for Kenya, whatever document is presented initially is not whatever is normally implemented at the end of the day. It changes. And I wish we could just have that, streamlined kind of aspect of, can we do something as we set it from the get-go? Don't go changing things along the way, because it will hamper things.
And if we have to change, make sure it's informed.
Yes,
It's informed,
yeah.
yes,
By what?
very much
Not
informed.
just
And
for
you see, it's the
the
same
simple.
way right now. Data is hard to come by. Yes, current data of the government. Let's go to KNBS. When you ask for specific data, utalia na jicho moja. Sorry to say, I'm a person who loves data, but it is hard to get data.
It is actually
You actually need to work with guys who collect data on your behalf, because they know whichever chochoros to get the current data. And even for them, it's not that it's easy, and that's why you have to pay for that kind
Yeah,
of
you
data.
have to part with money, man.
You part with money for those kinds of data, and which is painful. If those datas were ready, made ready, how much more decision making would be made easier and simplified for all industries, for the whole of the economy anyway.
But you've noticed, it's interesting how the conversation ilianza from stories a job, and we've seen how many things are so interconnected and affecting Bona Bado.
Yes.
Young people wanna
still struggling with work.
But just to about conclude this discussion, what is the one thing you would tell yourself if you are coming to the workplace for the first time in this era?
Knowing what we know, or
yes, knowing what we know. What would you want? Let's say currently, as we are saying, poleni Gen Z, sikuwaonea, lakini what would you tell a Gen Z in terms of they've come to the workforce with we all came with expectations, but what you expect is not necessarily what you see or what you get.
I think when you're asking that, like, just memories came to mind, and I remembered, like, you joined the workplace, then you just want a job, you have to pay your bills. So whatever money that has been put on the table is what you'll take. Like, you've probably not researched, but right now I know Gen Zs and guys research on, like, okay, each job in a faculty for how much, but they, like, you need to have that information, like, what is the job level looking like for this type of position? What are people paid out there? So when you're walking into something like that, you have that knowledge. Because me, I just took what was put on the table. And when you get there, you come to realize that you're doing so much. There are people, you're doing even more than other guys there, but because you're learning, you're paid less, and because you don't have experience. So I will say research and know what you're worth. And just going back to that situation where, like, after learning that I needed to be paid more, I walked into my manager's office and I asked for an increase. Na aliniambia, why do you need more money? You want to go and buy more shoes and clothes? Like, you live at home. Why do you need money? And, like, it made me even, like, and then he shouted. So, like, when I left the office, guys were like, Kwani, what did you do? You know, like, why have you made him so mad? You know, and it was something that I was asking for my right, you know, but I was made to feel so embarrassed that it sort of affected me, like wanting more, because like you get afraid,
Yeah.
So, but I know if I would have gotten to that job knowing what I want and being able to bargain, of course, in a very professional and respectable way, I would have been like join the market in a better salary, compared to just being told that, okay, this is what we are paying you because you're an intern, just take this and shut up, Yeah, so just research and know what you're worth and what you bring to the table. Even if you don't have experience, you still have skills. Yeah, that's what I will tell guys.
Yeah. I think I'll jump into that.
Yeah.
And I feel like I also want to say, while yes, good, understand your worth, understand what you need to gain from that experience. And I think at the same time, it's also a balance of when it goes back to your purpose, what do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? What are the goals that you need? If you're in a space whereby to say you're not fully getting also what you want, nini decenter tu kufikiria about do, right? What could be other opportunities that can help you grow? Hata kama ni useme, okay, naona hapa wananicheza, but in the next 6 months, what can I do? Work on a network. I learn, I develop my skills, I strengthen them. I make sure that network, connect na watu. Ndio maybe, at the end of the 6 months, by the time inaisha, ule mse uli connect na yeye, maybe you found someone who would be interested to work with and collaborate with. And then ujipange in that way. So, when tunasema, if you're in a place whereby they can accommodate your needs as you need to, well and good. But if not, find other ways to take advantage of where you are, learn your skills, move forward, grow. I think kuna hiyo element pia ya jasho yako ni tamu. Unajua, there's also that people want to immediately get paid a lump sum. Kuna realistic, there's some realistic money, there's some I was about to use a French word. There's good realistic money you can work with. Kuna ile enye it's a slap on your face and you're doing a donkey's work. So it's learn venye tu unaweza make a step. Hata kama unapata kutoka 70k sahi na you deserve more. Build hizo skills, soma whatever you need to get. Jipe your time kwa your place. But by the next time unaenda hapa, unajua you have so much that you have built that you cannot ask for less than 120k, right? So it's also the merit, like just making sure that you also still have merit so that it backs up the reason, like the reason that you're bringing to the table as to why you need to get. Yeah.
Oh, right. I think also mine is to add to them. For me, I've worked as a freelancer for the longest. So that means it's me looking for clients and seeking to retain the clients, or if it's not retain, have them refer. So I think one of the things that I've come to learn, and now it's becoming more clear, is what I think what especially what Nana has said, develop your skills. So if, for instance, you started as a writer, you started as doing reports, normal reports, like you're told there was this meeting and there was this project and you're asked to write a report. So you know just to write basic report. Then find a way to now expand your skill and understand, how do I write a strategic analysis report? How do I write a marketing, a market research report? How do I write a business plan report? From there, now you're like, okay, I think I would be better if I expand my skill into research. Now you go to broader, actually going and looking for data, whether qualitative, quantitative, and now understanding how to use that data and put it together and make conclusions that way. So I think for me, what I would say is, if you get, because I know there are people who are going in as freelancers and consultants, expand your skill. grow as much as you can. At the same time, create networks with clients and people within your field. So if you're, because most of the time what happens, you might be in a space where it's not a freelancer, naishindanga ukiangalia ni wapi kuna hii project inakuja inaisha, client anakam kazi yake inaisha. So what happens is, if you don't have a network even within the field that you're working with, it's very hard for you to find work. Most of the time you will find that one person has work that they can't handle at that point, and they're like, hey Jim, I need you to help me with this. Do you have can you help out? So they'll either refer you to the client or give you work. So it's very good to create a good rapport with your clientele, because they'll refer, and also create a good rapport with the people, a network with the people within your field, and also not just within the field, the interconnected fields within your field, because you'll always, it's easy for you to find work that way. Someone knows, nikitaka data analysis, I know someone, I know Jean, anajuanga nafanya research. So if I find, even if someone who's asking me, I have a project and I don't know who will do this for me, so they'll be like, they know someone, you are the first person they refer to. So yeah, expand your skill, grow in knowledge and skills, and create those networks for both, if you are a consultant or a freelancer, from both the client side and from the field within which you're working in.
Your social currency
Is your
your net worth. Your net worth.
Your networks are your net worth. Yes. And actually, I just wanted to say that exactly that. Yes, your networks tend to become your network, in the sense that if your networks cannot build you into going the next heights, then you're not having the correct network.
Yeah.
Because your network can build your skill, can build your social standings, and can build anything else around you. People tend to drive away the fact that even your own friends, people tend to sideline hustle with friends. But sometimes I believe the moment your network is also your friends, I will talk about your project even in your absence.
Yeah, true.
And someone will get interested.
And say,
true.
And sometimes that has happened. There are some of my friends that I'm like, I think I know a lawyer who's done that. And or I know an engineer who does that kind of thing. Or I know this person who writes these kinds of things. And it becomes way easier to, actually, if you look at it like biashara ya nywele, see what ni watu wa nywele. Where, how many times do you find yourself in a place you are referred more than a place where you just
word of mouth is always.
So yes, word of mouth still remains the strongest marketing tool of all.
Very true.
And just to top up onto the whole what you'd tell a Gen Z, I'll say also manage expectations, because most of us never did manage our expectations when we got into the workforce. We always thought, once I get my job, I'll get my paycheck, and be able to do A, B, C, D. Most of us thought, we dreamt that by 30 we have our own houses and our cars, but
getting there.
You were saying by 28 you are driving and have your own house.
And there was that feeling of kwanza when you see someone has entered Big Four, and they like already wanaanza kuchocha, alafu wewe ujaingia Big Four,
big loan wako na
By the way, it's true. It's not out of ati sijui wamesema
very true.
ati ndio wakapata.
Yeah.
Actually
Hapana
ni
pressure.
tu wako na access ya debt.
Yeah, loans.
But you see, at the end of the day, we were never shown African. I don't know whether it's an African thing or a majorly a Kenyan thing, but we were all shown if you don't get your things without a loan, it is not yours. But then we were shown,
and loans are not
bad.
bad.
They are not bad.
They're not bad.
If you work them out well.
Yeah.
But
you find what works for you.
Don't
but the whole thing of
take a loan to service your life.
yes, actually
you get stuck in a loop.
Yes. And then another thing I remember I never really did was nilifanya ile mistake ya tumia pesa ikuzoe.
I think when you were all young,
tumia pesa.
Tumia
pesa ikuzoe. So by the time you're thinking about, you're already waiting when your salary na
it is 20th of the month.
Yes. Then you're reminded it's 20th, it's not the 25th.
Yes.
You have another 11 days.
Alafu naambiwa there might be a delay.
Nilikuwa nafanya hiyo ujinga uzuri ilikuwa inagonga 24th na 24th kama iko weekend itagonga hiyo the Friday
before.
The Friday before that weekend.
Oh wow.
Hey, makosa.
At that time, that was at that time.
Yeah.
Alafu nikaingia kwingine kubaya.
Penye sasa ni
fifth na rent ikadupia hiyo fifth.
So you're rushing.
So wewe na fifth mko tu.
Wacha idelay by then na force watu. Haya sasa ni lazima nitumie M-Pesa. I do not care how it comes. Nilipe rent. So those are the things I think for now we'll put a pin on it. We'll continue next time. Thank you for the lovely conversations. Hata kama chai imeshaisha, but and I'll say as hustle has never been a straight path for anyone. So we'll keep on growing. We'll keep on nurturing what we can nurture, and yeah, that's all, guys. Thank you.
Bye.